We all know the standard script for how to be a good person. When someone wrongs you, you're supposed to take a deep breath, rise above it, and forgive them. But according to A Course in Miracles, the way most of us practice forgiveness is actually a trap. Think about your average Tuesday. A barista hands you the wrong order with a major attitude, a driver cuts you off in traffic, or your partner leaves a passive-aggressive note on the counter. Your blood pressure spikes. The grievance locks in. So you try to do the spiritual thing. You adopt the role of the holy, awakened ego. You look down from your moral high ground, acknowledge how terrible their behavior was, and generously decide to grant them your pardon anyway. Except it rarely works. 10 minutes later, you are still replaying the argument in your head. You feel secretly furious, totally drained, and inadequate because you cannot seem to just let it go like a supposedly enlightened person should. Keith Kavanagh calls this specific approach forgiveness to destroy. By acknowledging the sin to forgive it, you validate the conflict as real and cement your identity as a victim who suffered actual damage. This illustrates a defense mechanism called projection. The ego takes internal guilt and projects it outward onto a neutral target. We carry deep feelings of separateness. Since that pain is uncomfortable, our mind is thrilled when someone messes up. It gives us a scapegoat. Everyday anger serves as a subconscious strategy to avoid looking at our own internal discomfort. To practice true forgiveness, we have to completely reverse our approach. Let's return to the rude barista. Step 1 is simple but counterintuitive. Do not try to forgive the barista. Instead, you pivot inward. You forgive yourself for actively wanting to be angry at her. You forgive your own desire to hold on to that grievance. This pivot strips away the external distraction. You are no longer focused on what someone else did wrong. You are looking directly at your own internal choice to identify as an aggrieved, separate victim. Suddenly, the moral superiority of the holy ego evaporates. You pull the responsibility for your peace entirely back into your own mind. Forgiving your own desire to be angry breaks the ego cycle. Without the external blame, the mechanism of projection collapses. This brings us to step 2, which we can look at through the scenario with the passive-aggressive partner. When the external blame is gone, you are left with heavy, raw feelings of inadequacy and sadness. This animated diagram captures your only job. Become the non-judgmental observer. You sit as that calm central circle, allowing the jagged negative emotions to swirl around you. You refuse to fight them, label them, or force them into positivity. As the text states, true forgiveness is still and quietly does nothing. It offends no aspect of reality. It merely looks, waits, and judges not. Of course, the mind will often fight back. You will get frustrated and feel like a crap spiritual student because you cannot seem to successfully observe your emotions. The exact same rule applies here. You completely welcome that failure. You envelop and forgive your own resistance to the process. Actual forgiveness functions as a state of non-resistance allowed within oneself. Practicing this non-judgmental observation over time shifts the mind's entire sense of self. Take a look at this split layout. The core logic of the practice leads to this. If you are capable of stepping back and observing your angry thoughts on that chaotic screen to the left, then you cannot be the thoughts themselves. You are the quiet space on the right, watching. You are not the movie character suffering on the screen. You are the untouchable, peaceful awareness, the cinema itself, watching the film play out. The rude barista, the traffic, the partner's comments, those things were only ever happening to the false movie character. They never touched the true awareness. The deep peace of actual forgiveness results from dropping the illusion of a separate, vulnerable self. This approach lets you completely off the hook. You're no longer responsible for fixing the world, acting perfectly holy, or magically banishing your bad moods. The only requirement is to stop fighting your own mind. Allow the mess of human emotion to exist. Step back and simply observe it. By looking upon the problem exactly as it is, without a trace of judgment, you awaken to the shared, untouchable peace that you have always been.